With a new Doctor, with a new season, comes another batch of officially licensed BBC audios from Penguin as well. We've got two of them with the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday. We've got Sting of the Sasquatch and also On Ghost Beach. I've not listened to On Ghost Beach yet, but I have listened to Sting of the Sasquatch by Darren Jones. And this is an audio production, about 70 minutes long, read by Genesis Lanier, who you may remember as Harriet Arbinger from the finale of the latest season of Doctor Who. This is set in the American Northwest in a national park, where the Doctor and Ruby encounter these large humanoid Bigfoot-like creatures in modern-day America. However, they meet some Bigfoot hunters, Dixie and Greg, some young Americans who are trying to discover the Sasquatch, and also a bit of a grumpy park ranger called Ranger Fiona. And they are trying to figure out, why is it so difficult in the year of our Lord 2024 for drones and cameras and even robot dogs of all things to try and find Bigfoot? Because if Bigfoot is actually in this Northwest American forest, then why is humanity unable to find them? Why is there no actual evidence? Why is it just blurry photos and black and white imagery from conspiracy theorists if they are actually here? And not just that, there's more than one Sasquatch. However, Ruby finds herself on the receiving end of a parasite. She is bitten by this weird, worm creature that's in the forest, and she starts to come down with a bad case of Sasquatch fever. Let's play a quick clip from Sting of the Sasquatch.
The Doctor tapped the centre of the circle with the marker. That's where we should look. How long will it take to walk there? The Ranger gauged the distance on the map. It's higher up the valley, but not too far. About an hour. Ruby sat heavily on the wooden bench and let out a sigh, her face pale. Doctor, I feel weird. As she spoke, she went limp and toppled forward. The Doctor dived and caught her before she crashed to the floor. Carefully, he laid her down and then gently shook her. Ruby, can you hear me? She was unconscious, but breathing. As he lifted her arm, the Doctor glimpsed something move on the back of her wrist. He pulled Ruby's coat sleeve back and saw a long, thin worm with a faint blue glow. It was crawling under Ruby's skin. Even as he looked, the worm divided in two, each new segment slithering in different directions along her arm. Chayton crouched beside Ruby and reached to check her pulse. I'm a first aider, he murmured, but the Doctor pulled him away. Don't touch her. Something stung her hand earlier. Looks like a parasitic infection. And I don't think it's terrestrial. You mean alien? Said Wade. Bigfoot and aliens? Said Dixie. Result! The Doctor scowled. My friend is infected. It's not something to get excited about. He scooped Ruby off the floor, careful not to let her bare skin touch his. I need to get her back to my hide, that blue box you saw earlier. Wade, can you get the door, please? Wade skittered over and pulled the door open, only to be confronted by the hulking form of a Sasquatch. He cried out in shock and tried to slam the door, but the beast stooped and pushed through the opening with ease. Chayton instantly went for his handgun, but before he could aim, the Sasquatch grabbed his arm and bellowed a roar, baring its teeth. It yanked the gun from the ranger's hand and threw it into a corner.
So I think that Genesis did a really good job narrating the story. I will say, though, she doesn't really try a Manchester accent for Ruby Sunday, nor does she try a Scottish accent for the 15th Doctor. She's got a good American accent, though. I think she does well for the rest of the characters. But for the Doctor and Ruby, I think she just goes with her regular voice, which is fine. I wasn't nitpicking. But yeah, Sting of the Sasquatch, I actually, surprisingly, really enjoyed this release. It's almost kind of like standard Doctor Who. You know, the Doctor and Ruby land in a fun location. Oh, there's Sasquatch creatures, but have they not been discovered before? There's a good cast of characters with some fun character beats and some quirks and stuff. You've got the two conspiracy theorists who are really massively enthusiastic with a couple of character quirks. Dixie, who you heard in the clip there, has got really bad hay fever and has got an inhaler and stuff, which is a nice Chekhov's inhaler, shall we say. The Ranger, who is a skeptic and doesn't believe in all of this skullduggery. You've got this parasitic infection as well as a bit of a B plot, and then there's the big monsters with the Sasquatch. It's all of the good elements you'd want from a Doctor Who story. At one point, someone says, "Oh, the Doctor, are you a Bigfoot hunter?" And he was like, "No, but I found Yetis once, like several lifetimes ago." And it's just like, "Is this guy serious?" The references are fun, and they actually are done in a way that really informs character. I liked that a lot. I think that Darren Jones, who's written a lot of Doctor Who audio and a lot of Doctor Who expanded universe stuff before, he knows what he's doing here. He's done a really good job here. And I just thought that the dialogue was really strong. I thought that it was good that the first half of the story is completely unlike the second half as well. The story does build and change and escalate, and the story is able to change the threat and pivot when it needs to in order to keep things more interesting. For a while, I thought that it would just completely abandon the supporting cast from the second half of the story, because it just completely veers into a different direction, but it's a much more interesting one. Like I said, the main mystery at the heart of Sting of the Sasquatch, from me at least, was if there are multiple Sasquatches. Sasquai? What's the plural of Sasquatches? If there's multiple of them in the Northwest America in the year 2024, why haven't they been discovered? Why aren't they like a regular fixture in like social media or drones or heat seekers or whatever? And I think that Sting of the Sasquatch actually carves an interesting narrative that gets around those things and explains with enough like fun sci-fi Doctor Who trappings as to why that's the case. And I really appreciated that level of commitment to the mystery from Darren Jones. The Sting of the Sasquatch was a good time. The only issue with these BBC audio releases from distributed by Penguin is that they are quite expensive. Like the audio CD is like £15, and this thing is like an hour long with like no features or interviews or anything in terms of behind the scenes and stuff, and the audio download is only a little bit cheaper. So you don't get much value for money here, but I did enjoy Sting of the Sasquatch a lot. It's a strong story where the Ruby doesn't get that much to do because she's incapacitated for most of the story, like you heard in that clip there. But it's a really good story for the 15th Doctor to try and solve this mystery of the Sasquatch and try and figure out a way to communicate with them, try and find a way to cure Ruby and also these other humans who have gone missing, and also work with this eclectic group of supporting characters. This is just really textbook, strong, solid Doctor Who. I enjoyed it a lot. I just don't think these releases are great value for money. But if you get it on offer, or you have like an Audible credit or something, because these things are on Audible, this is definitely worth checking out. Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I like it. The fundamentals here are just so strong that I can't really see many people having an issue with this story. I've not read or seen any other reviews of this, so for all I know, everyone else hates it. But I think that Sting of the Sasquatch is like a pretty... is a bit of a hidden gem in this year's Doctor Who releases, and I do urge you folks to try and check it out. To be fair, the Yetis were robots, yeah, and these Sasquatches are aliens. It's not a competition. So yeah, something a little bit different, because my Big Finish back catalogue is massive and vast and wide, but I didn't have enough time to listen to another one, but I had this on my Audible wish list, and I thought, you know what, let's give this a listen as well. It's only like an hour, so I did, and I'm going to listen to the other one for next week. What's the other one called again? Sorry, it's called On Ghost Beach. So this is a historical Doctor Who audio 1950s, 1960s County Durham ghost story, read by Susan Twist.